And this is my presentation on rebuilding my company's branding hub and the efforts that have gone into acquiring the return on this investment. Throughout this presentation, I will quickly introduce you to dunnhumby and speak a little bit about the process that we have gone through that has gotten us to our current status. dunnhumby is a data science company that provides insights and media solutions for retailers and brands. While this reads as a very dry, bland combination of capabilities, dunnhumby actually does some pretty incredible work and are very passionate about their customer-first combinations. Our project was to rebuild and redesign BrandBox, which is the company's client-facing and marketing and branding hub. The reasons were multiple, but overall, we had an opportunity to practice some redesign and some UX methodologies, and we were seeing some trends of activity where many new hires that were coming into the company required a great deal of training just to use BrandBox. And even after the training, the results were not all that great. They weren't really following our branding, and it was turning into a bit of a problem. So that brings us to here. Given that most of the team is very new to these UX processes, we wanted to make sure that we were giving ourselves enough time to learn these processes and methodologies properly, while still being aggressive enough to be appropriate, being on the clock and all. As we were researching UX methodologies that were appropriate for the project, we focused on those that we would likely use again for projects in the future. Again, we're trying to build a skill set here that we can apply to our work. So we also looked a lot into key performance indicators and educated ourselves on that avenue of business, and we finished up a research looking into how other professional entities have accomplished the same thing that we're trying to attempt, just to see if there's any tips, tricks, or pitfalls that we could possibly avoid. As we were generating all of this, we found that we needed a way to visualize all the work that we needed to do and how each task related to one another. Which brought us to the timeline that I generated, which shows all the different processes that we had agreed to bring into the project, as well as the KPIs and the data seeds that we were going to be focusing on. As you can see, the top more pink bar contains all the UX methodologies. The center timeline strikes through the middle. That's the main timeline, and then the bottom portion tracks all of the KPIs. We started to notice that in developing this timeline, that with very little tweaking, we may have the beginning stages of an application that could automate tracking UX methodology, as well as their associated data streams and KPIs, which would be pretty cool. But for now, we will continue to build this out for our current processes and focus on just trying to get BrandBox where we want things. So far, we have not seen a whole lot of activity on our ROI. On our KPIs, which is necessary for our ROIs. We haven't seen a whole lot of activity, and one concern is that we might not have a whole lot of data to work with, which is integral to obtaining the return on investment. But if we're not really seeing any data, but we can improve data and show that we're doing that, that's a step in the right direction, and we could probably figure out how to do some of the math from there. As I mentioned, we've seen our current status. We've seen minimal KPI activity. The personas we've noticed have come in very handy, and those are documents that now help the executive team, which was kind of an eye-opener. They were very curious to work with those and see who we feel, who the creative team feels that we are focusing on. And there's also been a lot of cooperation with the executive team. Not only have they been very curious to learn more about what we're doing and how UX methodologies might be able to integrate into the company, but they want a hand in the work that we're doing. So so far it's been a cooperative hand, which is really nice. We were afraid that might slow us down, and in fact it looks like this could mean for some very exciting opportunities in the future. So we're pretty excited about that. But anyway, that will round out my presentation. Thank you very much to Paul. This is the last presentation I will be giving you as a student. Later.